Okay, well, hello and welcome to Car Flipping Couples. We are Dean and Sherry, and today we're going to be talking about our first flip, how we got started in car flipping. So, if learning how to car flip or car flipping is something you've wanted to start doing, we're going to start sharing our experience and our journey and how we got started. And we're going to start today with our very first flip where we actually made a profit. So, good place to start, right? Let me get these out of our way and we'll get started. All
There
right.
we are. Welcome.
Just a little bit of what we're going to go over today. Again, welcome, who we are, how we got started, and just a little bit of our backstory. And then we'll go into our first flip, where he found it, how we kind of got started in this whole thing, and then a little bit more about a private group that we've started, so you can learn where you can uh, get a little more one-on-one help from us if you wanted to, or a little bit more in depth about what we do and how we do it. So, who are we?
Who are we? You're Sherry. I'm Dean. And we've called ourselves the car flipping couple. As we It's something I started. Uh, but every time I had a group of cars I was going to go look at or whatever, I always uh, went to her and said, "Look, here's the ones I have picked out," and she always picked out the winner. So we decided to jump in and start doing this together. We're a team, so uh, we're teaming up to be the car flipping couple.
So yeah, we're obviously parents, grandparents, retired couple. We've owned brick and mortar businesses in the past, but that's not something that we're doing now. And we wanted to supplement our income, and this came about kind of actually literally by accident.
Yeah, literally by accident. I had a accident that a few years ago that forced me to retire, which was ready to retire, other than financially ready, wasn't really ready. So I started looking for something, side hustle, as they say, uh, and that's how this was born.
Yeah, we found out real fast that Social Security alone is not a good way to live if you have expectations besides just keeping the lights on. So he started doing some homework and basically taught himself how to how to find vehicles and flip them, and did the first one and it worked. So what to expect from us a little bit on this channel is going to be, we're basically documenting our journey. We wanted to just have a place where we kind of document our flips and how they turn out and the results of them, kind of the journey of how we find them and that process, and maybe actually go to the lots where we see the cars ahead of auction time and kind of show that too, how he determines whether it's maybe one we want to take a risk on or not. So we wanted to show all the details of it and just kind of document our journey, show our actual flips, like I said, and then share a little bit more about that group that I'm talking about that will give you an opportunity to kind of have the inside scoop on what we do and how we do it. We talked a little bit about why we got started, a little bit out of necessity, but he's a car guy. He's built cars. He used to race cars, so he knows cars in and out. So they're really his thing. This is not something he just, is trying to figure out how to do. He knows cars. So it was really kind of a natural thing for him to find something in that arena, because we can feel confident that he can go and actually examine the cars and, excuse me, figure out what would be a good buy or something for us to take a chance on. So it was really a good lane for us to get in, and we can, something we can work on together. So
Yeah, the the trick for me was figuring out, well, okay, yeah, I know cars, but where can you get cars that you can buy cheap enough that you can actually flip and, make enough money to make a difference? So, I began searching. Of course, through the years, I've uh, looked into getting a dealer's license, which was crazy, ridiculous what the state requires. Uh, but anyway, I ended up after some research, ended up going to Copart. Copart is a uh, they have insurance cars that are salvage, rebuilt, wrecked, that kind of thing. And that's where I bought this car. Uh, yes, it was an insurance car, uh, but it was in good shape. The only thing was wrong with this car was the passenger side doors had basically looked like somebody took a can opener to them. But other than that, the car was really nice, ran well. Um, so it was very easy for me to basically find a salvage car with the same paint code that had two good doors, and voila, I'm ready to go, ready to flip.
So yeah, this was a really turned out to be a really good first flip experience for us. Again, he found that at Copart, and we'll talk a little bit about
Yeah, well, we'll talk about Copart.
finding
Copart's, yeah, that's where I started, but you know, it has its pros and its cons.
right. I think
Probably the list of cons is probably a little bit bigger than pros, but anyway, we'll get to that.
right. We'll talk about that. And there are people who only buy their vehicles from there, and they buy vehicles to flip primarily from places like Copart. And if if you're able to do the work yourself and you're really good at that, maybe you have a shop set up, that sort of thing, it might be the way to go because you're not having to work with a dealer and that sort of thing. But we're going to talk about well, as we go along in this video and others, pros and cons of all these kind of things. But this was a really good first experience for us. It turned out in the end really well. So this is just some pictures of the inside of it, like what we had listed on Marketplace when we listed it. You talked about where you found it.
All right.
Would you buy from there all the time? Why or why not?
Mm.
What would you say?
Oh, well, it's not my preference. Let me just put it that way.
Right. Once you have the experience of buying there, and then you move into having the opportunity to work with the dealer and buy from a dealer auctions, it's pretty night and day. The,
Again, it's like you said, if you got uncle that owns a body shop or something, hey, this might be right up your alley.
right. And if you're willing to be really take your time and be willing to pass on a lot of things to find that needle in the haystack, there might be some that are really turnkey flip ready or pretty close to being flip ready at a place like Copart, but you'd have to be really, really picky, I guess, so to speak, to
Yeah,
find
you got to be careful.
those there. So, but the way we're doing it now is we're working with the dealer. So these are the numbers on the first flip, and I'll let you go through those.
The I bought the car, like you can see, for $2,900, which sounds great, and it was. But and this is one of the cons with Copart is there's $1,200 worth of fees. Um, they're kind of stiff on their fees. Uh, then the repair cost and all in for 47, a little over $4,700. We sold it for $7,200, which was pretty good. $2,400 profit. First flip,
Right.
wasn't bad.
So we were highly motivated after that to try that again. Actually, the first one kind of just flew under the radar for me. He kind of did it pretty much all himself on the first one. I was kind of sitting on the sidelines and he got the car, had it delivered, and I'm thinking, okay, what are we doing here? Because this was brand new, but after he got it all fixed up and we got it listed and sold for that, I was like, okay.
Yeah, she says that, but of course with Copart, you have to trailer it out more often. So when I get it home and get it off the trailer, guess who was the first one to drive it, and take it around the block?
Well, I have to give my opinion on it. Oh, and I didn't go over my very scientific method for how I determine if a vehicle is worthy of buying is he'll pick them out and we look through the pictures on the website of them, and My thing is if even if someone's buying a used vehicle, you want to feel like you've got something, you got a really good deal, or it's new to you. It might be used, but you want it to feel as new as possible. So we try to buy vehicles that we would drive ourselves or that we think look really nice. So yeah, they might have a little scratch and dent here and there, but like the interior is in really good shape. And I always talk about the steering wheel. Does it pass the steering wheel test? Because that's going to be the first thing you see when you get in the driver's seat, right? It's the steering wheel. And so I think to myself, if it looks all worn and beat up, then you're going to feel like even if the car otherwise was okay and drivable, it's not going to feel like a new car to you. It's not going to feel special. So to me, of course, I'm looking more at things like that, the aesthetics of the
It
car.
has to pass the steering wheel test. That's if I don't even look at it if it don't pass the steering wheel test.
It's kind of and he brings the list of vehicles that he's found and we go through them and look at all the pictures and that sort of thing and then he'll ask me to grade it. So he goes down through his list and I'll tell him, well, I would give this one an 8 or a 9 or a 7 and he puts that grade down before before we make the final decision on what we're gonna buy. So it has kind of inadvertently turned out to be more of a team effort than I first anticipated that it would. I just noticed that as he went further along and started picking out the vehicles that he might go want to go bid on, he was bringing that list to me and asking me if I wanted to see them, and then we would just start looking at it together, and then he was asking me my opinion on them and that sort of thing, and of course he's the expert on the mechanics of it and that sort of thing because I don't know those things, but how well it's going to present and again how nice it looks inside, that sort of thing, because we want to have the reputation of selling vehicles that people would be happy with. Like, yes, they bought a used vehicle, but they got one at a great price and it looks almost new inside. So that's kind of that's what we look for.
That's what we're doing. That's what we want to teach everybody else to do.
Yeah, to have nice so that you can gain that reputation of being someone who, gets good vehicles, a good buy, and something that somebody can drive away with and feel like that they got a good deal and they're happy with what they've got, and you make a good profit in the process. So we feel like we found a good way to do that, working through a dealer, being able to buy vehicles through at a dealer auction. And we're basically sharing our journey and interested in showing others who might want to learn how to do it that way, the way we're doing it, sharing, how we're doing that. So the best place to find us and to kind of get more one-on-one, maybe attention, answers to your questions, that sort of thing would be over at carflippingforbeginners.com. That's the group that we started over on school. And you can go over there, join our group, and we'd love to have you come and join us there. Again, that's the place where you can get your questions answered and get some help as you begin your journey.
Yeah, feel free to join, ask a question. I need to know what you need to know.
Right. We can help better when we know what it is you're wanting to do, where you're at in the journey, where if you're just beginning, if this is something you've been looking into doing but didn't exactly know where to start. Um, maybe you got questions like that. So that's what we're there to help answer. That was our first flip. We've got several others that we've already done, and we're going to be next videos. We'll be sharing more details on those exactly like where we found it, how much we paid for it, how much we made. I think we've only had one zinger so far
Yeah, yeah,
that got us. Otherwise, we've made a profit on every one of them.
yeah.
But
So
we had one that hit us, but hey, that's
it
going to
it
happen.
was my fault. I'll take it. But you know, uh, again, we'll try to do other videos. I'd like to do a video, how do I inspect a vehicle when I go to see it? Where do you find them? How do you find them? Those sort of things. So
Yeah.
that's our plan.
Yeah, and we'll definitely take you with us to the actual Mannheim where we go to get most of our vehicles from. We'll take you there with us one day and walk through how he actually does his inspection, what he looks for, and uh, you know, sometimes you can see something that looks great and you just love to have it, but then you find out like, oh no, this has got a major problem, which happened to us recently. So, but it's, it's a journey and you just have to be patient to find the best deals. And we'd love to help you on your journey as we continue on ours. And this is just, we're just starting. I mean, we plan to keep this up and continue on, and we're just, wanting to share our journey along the way. So I think that's anything we've left out.
No, we're that's our plan. Come join us.
All right, that's it from the car flipping couple today. We'll see you
Yeah.
guys next time.